The next method of analysis is somewhat related to decomposition, and I'll call it additive or subtractive analysis. I say that it's similar to decomposition because it also deals with complexes and their components. I define it essentially as looking at a complex thing and then adding or removing components from it to see what the impact is to that complex. If this sounds familiar at all, it's because we actually referenced it in the very first lecture when we were talking about the value of business analysis to our organizations. We were asking questions like, well, what happens if we don't identify the needs of the organization? What happens if we identify the needs but we don't define solutions? Do you remember that? Okay, well that is one form of additive or subtractive analysis. But let's take a look at a more requirements-oriented version of it. And let's say we're looking at the following requirement. Okay, here Martha has given us a requirement, but we don't have a rationale written down for it yet. And that's fine. Requirements usually come piecemeal. That's pretty normal. So let's say we're sitting down with Martha to understand her rationale. We might ask her, okay, Martha, let's take a look at the requirement. You are one here. Why is it important to the report that we list all the beverages available for sale? She might have a difficult time answering that question, right? But if we ask her, hey, let's say if we take out the beverage names and replace them with beverage 1, beverage 2, and so on, would that work? Well, then she might come back and say, oh, well, no, I mean, we need the names of the beverages because it's fundamental to understanding the report. And there we have our rationale. And we simultaneously understand how important the user requirement is. And we ought to be grateful to the method of additive or subtractive analysis because it helped us out. We temporarily subtracted or removed a requirement to see what its impact was to the larger report. This type of analysis can be used in lots of different situations, but I tend to use it when I'm trying to understand the value of a component of a solution, or when I'm trying to help stakeholders prioritize requirements. It's really helpful in those situations, and I'm sure there are a million other situations that just aren't occurring to me right now.